Before we start, we gotta make it clear that this movie is a brand new part of the Fantastic Four movies, and it's got nothing to do with the old ones. In this film, we're gonna see an epic battle between the Fantastic Four and a massive alien creature, way bigger than them by far. This creature threatens to wipe out planet Earth completely, but the whole world comes together to try and stop it before it destroys the planet and wipes out humanity. So, can the Fantastic Four really defend Earth and stand up to something this huge and powerful, or will they fail against such a giant force? Stick around till the end of the recap to find out what happens. Our movie starts inside the Fantastic Four building. We see Sue Storm in the bathroom taking a pregnancy test. When she comes out, she tells her husband Reed the test is positive. They're shocked because they've been trying for so long without success. But in the end, they're super happy and promise to do everything to protect the baby. Then we see a TV host starting a show celebrating the Fantastic Four. He reminds everyone it's been 4 years since their journey and tells their story again. They were 4 close friends heading to space: Reed, his wife Sue Storm, her brother Johnny Storm, and their buddy Ben Grimm. But during the mission, they hit a strange cosmic storm that changed their DNA. When they came back to Earth, they had strange powers. Reed's body could stretch crazy far. Sue could create force fields and even turn invisible. Johnny could turn into fire, fly, and absorb flames. And Ben Grimm, he was the only one who couldn't go back to normal. His whole body turned into rock, but it gave him massive strength. They even made him a cartoon character that kids love. Since then, the Fantastic Four became the heroes protecting Earth from danger. The audience claps as the host finishes their story. After the show, the team goes back to their building. They let their robot, Herbie, finish making dinner while they change clothes. Then they all sit down to eat, and Sue tells them she's pregnant. They get super excited about a new member joining the Fantastic Four. The media finds out, and soon everybody knows the news. But everyone has the same question: will the baby have powers? Since both parents' DNA was changed, Reed starts building a machine to find out if their kid will be born different. But while working, his space scanner picks up a strange new signal. We learn it's not the first time. Signals keep showing up from deep space. He records them even though he doesn't know the source. Johnny takes the latest signal to study it and track where it came from. Meanwhile, Reed finishes his invention, a teleportation machine. It uses massive energy pillars like a time gate, but it drains so much power, the lights go out. Johnny uses his fire powers to light up the room. Reed realizes the machine still needs more work. Johnny studies the signal and finds it matches older ones, written in a strange language. Later, Sue goes to Reed for tests to check their baby. She comforts him, using her powers to show the baby inside her looks normal. She tells him not to worry. Sometime later, the four are about to have dinner together. Suddenly, alarms go off. They look to the sky and see what looks like a huge explosion. Without thinking, Johnny flies straight toward it. He finds an alien descending into the city. Everyone is shocked by her appearance, and the media films everything. Her name is Shal Bal, and she brings a message.
Your planet is now marked for death.
Their planet is doomed. She says a world eater is coming, and no one can stop him. She tells them to enjoy their final days in peace. She reveals she's the Herald of Galactus, the devourer of worlds. After speaking, she shoots back into space at incredible speed. Johnny chases her, but when he catches up, she speaks her alien language. He doesn't understand, and she blasts him back to Earth. The team gathers to check if what she said is real. Reed discovers many planets have already disappeared. Each one showed Shal Bal's energy signature before vanishing, meaning whenever she arrives, Galactus comes next. They decide to follow her signals into space to confront Galactus. Johnny listens again to the alien signals, realizing it's the same language Shal used. He still can't figure out the meaning. Finally, the team suits up in their new outfits, ready for space. Before leaving, they appear on TV to calm everyone down. They promise they'll do everything they can to save Earth from Galactus. They board the ship, with crowds cheering for them. They launch into space and lock onto a device called the FTL. It lets them travel faster than light. They follow Shal Bal's signals, hoping to reach Galactus, but they still don't know what kind of being he is, or how strong, or even his size. Everything about him is a mystery. They arrive at the location of Shal Bal's last signal. At first, the planet looks quiet and normal, but suddenly, massive energy bursts out. The planet begins to collapse. Sue hides their ship for a moment so they don't get hit by the debris. Then the whole planet disappears, devoured by Galactus. That planet was 13 times bigger bigger than Earth. A huge force pulls them toward Galactus. He scans their entire ship, but focuses only on the baby inside Sue. Shao-Bal appears on their ship and tells them Galactus wants to see them. She also warns they made a mistake coming here. She pulls their ship toward Galactus's vessel. On the way, they learn Shao-Bal is the one who chooses which planets Galactus consumes. Johnny asks her what the alien words meant when she spoke to him. She reveals she told him, "It's better to die with your people." They finally meet Galactus, and they're stunned by his massive size. His voice is thunderous.
You have traveled far.
He tells them he was once a normal being, billions of years ago, but something strange happened to him. He developed an endless hunger. He consumed everything, until eventually he started devouring planets. Galactus knows why they've come. He says they want to beg him to spare their world. Then he reveals something shocking. Their child carries immense cosmic power, a power they can't even imagine. He claims the child is destined to inherit his throne. Then Galactus makes them an offer. If they give him the child, he'll spare Earth. He explains that devouring the baby would satisfy his hunger for billions of years. He wouldn't need to consume any more planets. But Reed refuses. Galactus doesn't argue. He blasts Sue with energy from his eyes, forcing her into labor. He wants the child now. Johnny charges at him, unleashing flames everywhere. Shao-Bal rushes after Johnny to stop him. Ben Grimm blocks her path. Reed and Sue use the distraction to run back toward their ship. They dive into a small tunnel where Galactus's hand can't reach. They race for their ship, but Shao-Bal intercepts them again. Sue fights her, using all her strength, and blasts Shao-Bal away. The team jumps into their ship and take off, heading back toward Earth. To escape, they must lock into the FTL again, to go faster than light, but Shao-Bal recovers and chases them. At the same time, Ben manages to focus and connect them to the FTL just in time. As the ship jumps, Shao-Bal is thrown back into space, but she still chases after them. Johnny fires an energy blast at her, but the wormhole bends it away. Reed realizes they need a new plan. He tells the team they'll disconnect from the FTL to collapse the wormhole. They do it, only to find themselves near a planet with extreme gravity. That gravity pulls Shao-Bal down, trapping her. She'll need a month to escape. Sue cloaks the ship just long enough to avoid being dragged down too. It works, and Shao-Bal gets trapped by the planet. The Fantastic Four finally lose her and head back to Earth. Meanwhile, Sue is in labor. Reed struggles to help her deliver, but it's hard. She needs gravity to push. Sue pushes with all her strength, but suddenly, Sue disappears because she has exhausted all her energy. Then, she reappears, holding their newborn. It's a normal human boy. They name him Franklin. After a month-long journey back, they finally return to Earth. People celebrate, thinking the Fantastic Four defeated Galactus. Reporters crowd around, asking what happened in the battle. But Reed tells the truth. They didn't defeat Galactus. He's still out there. They only refused his offer to take their child in exchange for Earth. The crowd is shocked. People yell, angry that the Fantastic Four put the entire planet at risk for their baby. The team leaves the interview. One reporter shouts after Reed, asking, "So, is Earth safe or not?" Reed answers, his voice full of fear, "I don't know," and they walk away. When they get back to the building, the whole team gathers to find a solution. Reed keeps working on equations, hoping to figure something out, but he gets nowhere. Everyone feels frustrated and walks away. Later, we see Johnny wearing his suit. Sue walks in, surprised he's wearing it now. He puts a helmet on her and shows her Shao-Bal's words translated. He also shows her the signals from space. It's the same language. Johnny says with this translation, he can start breaking down the letters, learn the language, and understand the space signals. That might lead them somewhere. At night, Reed keeps working on equations, trying to find a way to protect Earth from Galactus. Still, nothing. He also runs tests on his son to understand his power, but finds no answer. Meanwhile, Ben Grimm sees on the news that people are angry. Protests everywhere. Chaos and destruction are spreading. People are starting to accept that it's the end of the world. When Ben walks the streets, people no longer respect. They insult him.
What about us?
Back at HQ, officials say Reed and Sue are risking the whole planet for their child. They call it selfish. Sue smashes the TV in anger. Crowds gather outside the Fantastic Four's building, protesting. The team sits in silence, not knowing what to do. Reed admits the people are right to be angry. This upsets Sue. She leaves to be with her son. Reed follows her and explains he didn't mean they'd give up the baby. He just thinks people are right because the team still doesn't have a plan to protect Earth or even their child. They need to focus on it. Then suddenly, Sue takes her son outside into the crowd. She tells them she wanted to show the baby they hate before even seeing it. She says she won't sacrifice her son for the world, but she also won't sacrifice the world for her son. They became the Fantastic Four, not because of their powers, but because people loved and supported. Now they need that love again. They need to stand together to protect Earth and fight Galactus, not by sacrificing anyone. Not the planet, not the child. The people finally understand and cheer for them. Meanwhile, Xiao Bao escapes the planet's gravity and returns to Galactus's ship. She apologizes for failing to bring him the child.
I'm sorry.
She asks why he wants the baby so badly. Galactus chains her up, explaining that just one taste of the child would end his hunger for billions of years. Because of the power inside him, he orders her to return to Earth and bring back the child. She obeys and sets out, though the journey takes a long time in Earth's time. Back on Earth, Reed tells the team he's found a solution. He will teleport Earth to another solar system far away from Galactus. In deep space, Galactus won't be able to find them. Reed appears on the news, demonstrating instant teleportation with a small ball. He says the only difference between the ball and Earth is size. They'll build massive teleportation pillars across the planet, all linked together, moving Earth to a habitable solar system. But it will require enormous power from every nation on Earth. All countries send their energy. Pillars are built everywhere. The news says it's the first time in history that every nation has united like this to save Earth. Meanwhile, Johnny deciphers Xiao Bao's language. He learns what the signals from space actually said. Reed works harder on teleportation, but realizes they need way more energy. So they cut off electricity worldwide, diverting all power to the teleportation system. Johnny finishes decoding the signals and uncovers Xiao Bao's full story. Reed, holding his son, realizes he's been wrong to treat him like an experiment. He turns off the machines and says he doesn't care who his son will become. He just wants to be a good father. The teleport pillars are finally complete, ready for activation. The team coordinates with the world to begin the transfer. The pillars activate, glowing with immense power. Just before Earth is teleported, explosions erupt. Xiao Bao has arrived. She destroys the pillars one by one, stopping the transfer. Before she destroys the last one, Johnny faces her head on. He plays the space signals from her people, speaking in her language. Xiao Bao is stunned. He even knows her real origin. Johnny reveals she was a scientist from planet Z. When Galactus came to devour her world, he offered her a deal: serve him, and he'd spare her planet. She accepted, changing herself and becoming his servant. The signals from space were thank you messages from her people, not cries for help. But Reed had also recorded signals of distress from the planets she sacrificed to Galactus. To save her world, she doomed countless others, including Earth. Xiao Bao breaks down, unable to handle the truth. She flies away heartbroken. Johnny follows, telling her he understands he's also trying to save his world. She tells him to accept Galactus's offer and hand over the child. She insists the child himself, if grown, would make the same choice to save Earth. Johnny offers himself instead of the baby, but she says it won't work. Galactus needs the child's cosmic energy. If they refuse, Galactus will come to Earth himself to take the child. With that, she leaves Johnny behind. Johnny comes back to the team and tells them that Galactus will come if they don't hand over the baby. They're lost, not knowing what to do. After the teleportation plan failed, Reed suddenly gets an idea. Instead of moving the whole planet, they'll teleport Galactus away. They'll lure him into the last teleportation triangle and send him to deep space, lost forever. But the problem is, how do you trick a giant like him into the exact spot? Sue says the only thing Galactus wants is the baby, so he'll follow it. Reed denies it, pretending he'll find another way, but everyone knows he's lying. Sue gets angry, turns invisible, and takes the baby to the triangle. Reed chases after her, while the team prepares to evacuate the whole city before Galactus arrives. Next morning, they move everyone into underground tunnels to stay safe during the battle. After that, we see Galactus preparing to descend to Earth. And the next day, Galactus lands in the ocean, and just his steps shake the Earth and flood streets. He scans the planet, finds the baby, and heads straight for it. And as soon as he moves through the city, the people in the tunnels become extremely terrified. But the Fantastic Four show up and start fighting him. Reed secretly switches the baby's car with an empty one, and Johnny takes the baby to their building and asks the robot Herbie to take care of him. Galactus figures out the trick, laughs at them,
Clever little bugs.
and goes after the real baby. The team throws everything at him, but he's too strong. Nothing works. After that, we see Ben Grimm trying to stop him, but he's thrown so hard that the impact sends him into space, and Johnny goes after him. On the other side, Reed uses his powers and intelligence, climbing onto Galactus's body and striking him in specific spots. This actually hurts and affects Galactus, but he manages to grab Reed, stretching and pulling his body hard to finish him off. Yet, at the last moment, we see Ben Grimm and Johnny descending from space toward Galactus, successfully striking him and rescuing Reed. But the whole team is exhausted and tired. At that moment, Galactus heads toward the child and actually takes him. But Sue gets up and tries to stop him.
Put down my son!
But it's in vain. Then she gathers all her strength, and we see that she actually manages to push him back with her power. When Reed and the rest of the team see her draining all her energy, they rush to stop her, because she might die once all her energy is gone. But she tells him to go save their son. And when he sees that she is pushing Galactus toward the teleportation triangle, he understands her plan. And Johnny goes to the teleportation device. And Sue is already starting to lose consciousness from the amount of energy she has spent. And Galactus is leaning on a building. But Ben Grimm destroys the foundation of the building and it collapses. So Galactus is pushed further back, and she succeeds in pushing him back into the teleportation triangle. And Johnny activates the gate with 35 seconds left before the teleportation portal closes. Reed rushes to take the child from Galactus's hands and runs away. Sue keeps resisting Galactus with all her strength to hold him inside the portal until time runs out, but she collapses to the ground and loses consciousness. We see that Galactus manages to rise again just before the portal closes. When Johnny realizes there are only seconds left before it shuts, he decides to sacrifice himself. He tells them to let the child know when he grows up that he loved him. Johnny runs toward Galactus to push him into the portal, but Shala Bal pushes him aside and sacrifices herself instead, forcing Galactus into the portal. And with that, they finally get rid of him. The whole team rushes to Sue to check on her, but they find that her heartbeat has stopped. They try everything they can, but she has truly died. Of course, they are all shocked and break down in tears. The baby keeps crying, so they let him give her one last hug to say goodbye. But suddenly, his crying stops, and he keeps staring into her eyes. After a moment, her eyes glow brightly, and she comes back to life. She keeps looking at the baby, and they have no idea what just happened. She tells Reed that she felt the baby's power, and that he is definitely not like them, but far stronger. All the people come out of the tunnels and start cheering for them. A few days later, we see the host again, introducing the Fantastic Four once more to congratulate them for what they did. The show's crew even prepares something special for Franklin, since he's the new member of the team. Everyone gets ready to appear in front of the audience on the show, but suddenly, the alarm goes off saying there's a new problem, so they all rush to the car to take control of the situation. Then 4 years later, we see Sue sitting with Franklin, who now looks a bit older. Sue gets up to grab something and leaves him alone, but the surprise comes when she returns and finds Dr. Doom taking off his mask while Franklin is watching him. Sue immediately starts getting ready to fight him, and that's where our movie ends. If you watch till the end, drop the emoji you see on the screen. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss the next video. See you in the next movie summary. Bye!